Alright, my fellow agents, welcome back to the Gaming Brigade, and as most of you know by now, the 10-year anniversary event kicked off a few days ago in the Division 2, and it brought with it 2 new LMGs into the game. Now we know that one of the big ticket items in this event is the big Alejandro exotic LMG. It's a fan favorite from the first game, and it is a guaranteed reward when you get to level 46 in your event pass. Now to be clear, that's in the free event pass. You don't have to buy any premium one to get the thing, and you also have a chance to get one by opening up an anniversary cache during this event. And if you have no idea how either of those systems work, I'm going to leave a link to a video I posted yesterday. Now, in addition to the big Alejandro, there is also a brand new named LMG in the game called the Gear Shift. It is a guaranteed reward when you get to level 5 in your event pass, so it's much faster to pick up. You can also get it from the anniversary caches as well, so today we're going to take a few moments and highlight one of the many different builds you can put together around this thing, and I recommend giving it a shot. So starting with the specialization, we're using Gunner, and we're doing that to get that extra reload speed bonus. We have access to the Banshee Pulse with this specialization as well, some extra rate of fire, and always remember to make sure you have the LMG activated in your weapon skill tree, and you're doing that for 2 reasons. First of all, it's going to give you an extra 15% weapon damage bonus when you're using your LMG, and secondly, it gives you access to the large pouch, which is going to give you an extra 50 rounds in the magazine. Now when it comes to this weapon, the first 2 attributes will always be the same. It will be LMG damage, then it will be damage to targets out of cover, and ideally the third one is damage to armor. Now the reason this weapon is so effective is because it has the talent perfectly measured. The top half of the magazine is a 25% rate of fire increase and a negative 30% weapon damage decrease. The bottom half of the magazine is a negative 18% rate of fire decrease and a 38% total weapon damage bonus. Now, as far as the secondary and sidearm is concerned, it's totally up to you. However, if you do have the quick step, I recommend using that handgun because when you have that in your hand, you're going to get an extra 20% movement speed bonus. Now, moving on to the gear itself, you can see we're running 4 of the Tipping Scales gear set, 1 piece of Petrov, and the Catharsis mask, which is what we're starting with. Now, as you've heard me mention in previous videos, this is one of those must-have exotics. It has the Talent Vicious Cycle. Taking damage builds stacks to a cap of 30. Each stack is going to grant 1.5% weapon damage. Taking damage at max stacks triggers a purge, removing all stacks and status effects, and then dropping a healing cloud which restores 5% of max armor for 10 seconds to all allies in the cloud. Next we have the body armor, and as you can see, it's the first of 4 pieces of the Tipping Scales gear set. We're running 4 so we get all of the gear set bonuses. 2 pieces 30% magazine size, 3 pieces 30% LMG damage, 4 pieces throttle control. Shooting build stacks to a max of 50. Each stack is going to provide 0.5% weapon handling and 4% crit hit damage. Lose 6 stacks per second while not shooting. No stacks are lost if an enemy is suppressed. And because we're wearing the Tipping Scales body armor, we have access to the talent sustainability. That is going to increase the maximum number of stacks from 50 to 75. Continuing on to the holster and the knee pads, they are 2 more pieces of the Tipping Scales gear set. And one thing I'm trying to do is stack crit hit chance and crit hit damage everywhere I can. Next we have the gloves. They are the Contractor's Gloves, 1 piece of Petrov. That's going to give us an extra 10% LMG damage bonus and that metal attribute, 8% damage to armor. And last but not least, my friends, we have the backpack, which is the 4th and final piece of Tipping Scales. Now because we're wearing the Tipping Scales bag, we have access to the talent Snowball, and that is going to increase the crit hit damage received per stack from 4 to 7, so that's a good jump right there. As far as the skills are concerned, I'm using the combination of the Healer Drone and the Banshee Pulse. However, to be clear, you can use any combination you want. Now, having said that, one thing I mention in every build video I post is the fact that this is just a template. You want to take your time, make a build your own, as there are so many different ways to roll with a build like this. So at this point, I'd like to show you another variation I recommend trying. Now to do that, we need to go back to the Gunner specialization, and I need to highlight the second field research for this specialization. And the reason for that is because the reward for completing stage 2 of this field research is going to be the VedMed Best blueprint, and that is going to be one of the center points of the next build you're about to see. Not center points, focal points, but you know what I mean. You can't have 2 center points. Anyway, moving on, getting to the build itself. As you can see, we are once again using 4 pieces of the Tipping Scales gear set, and needless to say, the body armor is that VedMed vest. Now this is a piece of Petrov, which means we're going to get that 10% LMG damage bonus, and this has the Talent Perfect Braced. While in cover, weapon handling is increased by 50%. Now, the main reason I recommend this talent is because I happen to hear from a lot of players out there, and you say that you really struggle with using LMGs because some of those weapons can kick like a mule. This will definitely help you out. Last but not least, you can see I changed the gloves to Overdogs. These have the talent Weakest Link. That is going to amplify weapon damage by 30% to the lowest ranking enemy currently in combat as per the tier hierarchy. Finally, when we take a look at the numbers, you can see I'm sitting at 55% crit hit chance. Remember the max is 60 and 111.1 crit hit damage. And always remember, those numbers are going to be dependent on the gear you have equipped, as well as having a Shade Watch of level 1000. I'd also like to mention I do not have any modifiers running in the gameplay footage you're about to see, and the reason for that is I want to ensure that whenever you see this thing, you know exactly what the build can do without any special events going on. Hope this helped you out, my friends, and as always, questions, comments, or feedback, please let me know, and I'll do my best to get back to you as quick as I can. On that note, I'm going to leave you with some gameplay footage and a few final thoughts. As always, I want to take a moment and thank you all for your incredible continued support. Please let me know of any other questions you have I did not address. Thank you once again for the privilege of your time, and as I mention at the end of every one of these, take care of yourselves, be kind to each other, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks again, everyone. Hello once again, my fellow agents. I hope everyone is doing well on this fine day. So the video footage you're looking at right now is from the first build that I showed you with the Catharsis mask, and I failed to mention the crit hit chance and crit hit damage numbers on that build. It is 49% crit hit chance and I think just under 90% crit hit damage. So needless to say, there's a lot of improvement for this build, but one thing I like to highlight here at the channel is that while you're in the process of farming better gear, you can still put something together that can get the job done. So, hope you enjoyed this thing, my friends. That's going to do it for my portion of this video. Thank you once again for everything, and I will see you in the next one.